deep within the heart of a lush, enchanting forest, where sunlight danced through emerald leaves and the air was filled with the sweet chorus of birdsong, there stood a most extraordinary place, a hidden library, nestled between towering oaks and whispering willows. Unlike any other building in the forest, this library was built from living wood, its walls shaped by the gentle curve of tree trunks, its roof woven from leafy branches and wildflowers. The scent of moss and old paper mingled in the air, inviting curious creatures from all corners of the woods to step inside and discover its wonders. The library was watched over by an old wise owl named Professor Hoot. With silvery feathers and twinkling golden eyes, Professor Hoot spent his days organizing books, scribbling notes on scrolls, and welcoming visitors with a gentle who would like to read today. He believed that everyone, no matter how small or shy, could find a story that would make their hearts soar. Every morning the library would come alive with the rustling of paws, hooves and wings. Rabbits hopped along winding forest paths, their noses twitching with excitement. Squirrels scampered down tree trunks, clutching pine cones and acorns to trade for storytime tokens. Even shy deer would tiptoe through the ferns, hoping to find a quiet corner to read. Inside, the library glowed with soft golden light. Shelves carved from sturdy birch and maple trees climbed all the way to the ceiling, filled with books of every shape and size. Some books were written on delicate leaves, others on smooth stones, and a few even on the petals of the rarest forest flowers. There were stories about brave hedgehogs on grand adventures, poems about the changing seasons, and magical tales of stars that granted wishes to those who believed in the impossible. One bright afternoon, a little fox named Fern arrived at the library for the very first time. Fern was nervous. She had never been inside a library before. She peered around the entrance, her fluffy tail trembling. Professor Hoot noticed her and gave a welcoming smile, his eyes shining with kindness. "Welcome, young Fern," he cooed softly. "Are you searching for a story?" Fern nodded shyly. She loved listening to stories her mother told her at bedtime, but she had never chosen her very own book before. Professor Hoot fluttered down from his perch and led Fern down the winding aisles. Together they explored the shelves, passing by a group of mice reading about faraway mountains, and a pair of raccoons giggling over a book of jokes. Finally, Fern's eyes landed on a small red book, tucked between two thick volumes. She gently pulled it free. The cover was decorated with shimmering gold leaves, and the title read, "The Tale of the Forest's Secret." Her heart beat faster as she opened the book and began to read. The story inside was about a brave little fox who helped all the animals of the forest come together to solve a great mystery. As Fern turned the pages, she imagined herself as the hero, her fears melting away with every word. As the days went by, Fern returned to the library again and again. She made new friends, like Maple, the clever squirrel who loved riddles, and Lila, the gentle fawn who dreamed of becoming a poet. Together they listened to Professor Hoot's story hours, where he would read aloud from ancient scrolls and lost legends. Sometimes they would act out their favourite scenes, laughing and learning together. The library became more than just a place to read. It was a place where animals could share ideas, learn new things, and help one another. Whenever someone had a question, whether it was about the tallest tree in the forest or the stars sparkling above, they knew they could come to the library and find the answer. And if the answer wasn't in a book, Professor Hoot would encourage them to write their own stories, adding their voices to the shelves for future generations to discover. Seasons changed, and the forest transformed with every passing month. In spring, blossoms decorated the rooftop, and the library hosted poetry readings beneath the blooming cherry trees. In summer, cool breezes and dappled sunlight made the library a perfect haven for long afternoons of reading. Autumn brought crunchy leaves and cozy story circles by the fireplace. And in winter, The library glowed warmly against the snow, with lanterns lighting the way for every visitor. Through it all, the library remained a magical heart within the forest, a place where stories grew as wild and free as the trees themselves. And every animal who passed through its doors carried with them a new adventure, a new idea, and the joy of knowing that, in the heart of the woods, a world of wonder awaited, just beyond the next page.